It is Tuesday, July 24th. The Giants win one 4-3, a close game. It is Tuesday night. This is Giants Roundup. You can follow on Twitter, join the Crew and Kite page on Facebook. Most importantly, please be kind and hit that subscribe button. Yes, the Giants finally win one, and most importantly, the first place LA Dodgers do lose a game tonight. So the Giants do pick up a game on the Dodgers. They are now 4.5 back of the Dodgers after tonight's win. And really good hitting and just a really excellent game by the Giants tonight. It started in the third inning with Chase Arnaud reaching on a single. Kelby scores. It's 1-0. Then Seattle would answer in the bottom of the third with a home run by Guillermo Heredia. It makes it 1-1 until the fourth inning. Then Kelby, yes, Clark Kent singles to second. It scores Austin Slater. And that's right, Austin Slater starts 2 consecutive games in a row. And he did not fail to disappoint for the Giants tonight, as Slater was 1 for 4. But the single did score Austin Slater. It was 2-1. Yep. Then in the bottom of the fourth inning, in an inning where Suarez wasn't his best, Denard Span sacrifices to left. It scores Nelson Cruz. It's 2-2. Then in the sixth inning, Hunter Pence hits one 445 feet out of the park. His first home run of the season. Giants take the lead 3-2. And that was probably one of the deepest bombs by the Giants by someone not named Mac Williamson this season. 445 feet. Giants take the lead. And then in the bottom of the sixth, that's where Andy Suarez runs into more trouble with the leadoff walk. With a couple more walks, and he gets the hook. Reyes Maranta comes in. He walks a batter. Then, unfortunately, the inherited runner scores. It goes on Andy Suarez. He allows 3 earned in 5 2/3 innings. Now his ERA is at 3.99. Ben Gamble singles to left. It scores Denard Span. It's 3-3. It would stay that way till the top of the ninth, when Panda reaches on an infield single. It scores. Teach me how to Duggar. Teach me how to Duggar. All the Giants love it. All the Giants love it. And they were definitely loving it tonight. That would be your final score of 4-3. And now Seattle's wild card lead in the AL is just 1.5 games, but they're just 1.5 up on our Cross Bay rivals, the Oakland A's, who had a miraculous comeback tonight. We'll get that later on. Some crazy baseball tonight, but not so good. Not a great night from Brandon Belt. The Giraffe goes 0 for 5 with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 strikeouts. And it might be time to consider giving Brandon Belt a day off after what Panda did at the plate tonight. And also the possibility that we will see Nick Hundley in the squat tomorrow. So I think certainly this could be a good game to get Brandon Belt a rest day, and maybe a mental rest with a mental day off could help him. As Belt's only been 1 for 31, and maybe a day off can't hurt him. But tonight, my player of the game has to go to Clark Kent. Kelby Tomlinson goes 2 for 3 tonight. And then, of course, Steven, teach me how to Duggar. Teach me how to Duggar. Steven Duggar 2 for 4 tonight. And certainly Hunter Pence has earned the right to DH again tomorrow. Now the Giants are 52 and 50 on the season. And the pitching was excellent tonight besides Dyson, 1 scoreless inning. Watson, I guess he's good on teams that are not the Oakland A's. Same for Will Smith. He's now 4 for 4 in save ops. Whereas the Mariners, Ruenis Elias, 2 earned in 3 2/3 innings pitched. Chasen Bradford, an earned run in 2 innings pitched. But Seattle, this is a game they needed to win. They didn't. Now their wild card lead is now just a game and a half. So we shall see what happens. But as for the Giants, tomorrow they can go for the sweep. This game will not be on NBCSN. You can only see this game tomorrow on Facebook Live. This is a Facebook game. There will be no show tomorrow since it's a weekday matinee game. But I will be back on Thursday night when we come home to play the Milwaukee Brewers for a 4-game series. Then after that, the Giants go back on the road to play Seattle and San Diego and Arizona. And taking the loss, his 3rd loss of the year, Edwin Diaz, who gives up 1 unearned run tonight. Tough way to lose tonight's game, but it is what it is on an error. That's got to sting for a closer when they lose, when the loss is on your defense on a defensive error. That's got to be worse than a walk-off home run sometimes. And right now, the margin of error is 0 for Seattle. Now let's go to our buyers or sellers for tonight. We're going to do 2 more teams. But I think for Brandon Belt, though, give him a day off tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be mentally. I really think being 1 for 31, Belt deserves the day off tomorrow. So I'd say Panda. Give Pablo Sandoval the start at first base tomorrow. Get Brandon Belt a mental day tomorrow, and then we could also see the return of Evan Longoria on the next homestand. That is something definitely to watch for. And tomorrow, the starting pitcher is Derek Holland. So it looks like Jeff Samardzija is not ready to go, and mercifully so. I actually think Derek Holland actually gives us a better chance of winning than Jeff Samardzija at this point. And I don't know if Samardzija should realistically come back this season. But I think Derek Holland, he should be good for the Giants. It'd be going up against former Giant Mike Leake. So we'll see how that works out. And that will be your. Let's go to the buyers or sellers for tonight. We're going to do 2 teams. We're going to start off with the San Diego Padres. Obviously a seller. They traded Brad Hand tonight. They traded Brad Hand, and then they traded somebody else for that catcher. I'm trying to. I expect Craig Stammen to maybe be moved at the deadline. Kirby Yates. Yeah, there was another youngster that went with Brad Hand. I can't remember his name. I'll come to me at some time. But I think the Friars are definitely going to be active this offseason, trying to get possibly a Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, some other names are, or just to get another marquee name in free agency, possibly bring Mike Moustakas to San Diego. But I think the Friars, they're going to look to try to get competitive and get back into winning next season. But I think the Friars, they're certainly going to sell at the deadline. And then before I get to my next buyers or sellers team, we have a trade to announce. Yes. Zach Britton traded to the New York Yankees for 3 prospects. He was traded for Dylan Tate, Josh Rogers, and Cody Carroll will all head to Baltimore for Zach Britton. So I think this is a little bit of an overpayment by the New York Yankees. And I didn't think they really needed any more bullpen than what they got. Robertson, Robertson, Aroldis Chapman. But I guess the more the merrier. Now probably Zach Britton will slide into the eighth inning role, with Betances not having his best season with the Bombers. And then certainly you'll have David Robertson, and they have a lot of firepower now in that bullpen. And then Tommy Canley, who was sent back to the minors. But we'll see what happens though. But the Bombers just got better, and they are probably going to have a really deadly 7th, 8th, and 9th, with Betances likely going back to the 7th inning with Zach Britton acquired by the New York Yankees. Now, my question is, are the Giants buyers or sellers at the deadline? I realistically think they should sell at the deadline. But what's the front office going to do? Probably nothing. They're probably going to stand pat. They're going to probably hope that they can make a run during August and September. Could happen. But I don't think it's realistic, though. I've kind of not been convinced that they can sustain a run. They've been just around 500 all season, which is definitely a skosh better than last season. But I just don't see this team being a playoff team. Be back. The dog's going off. Maddie. Pardon that dog interruption there. But as I said, the Giants are just not, I just don't think they're good enough to be a playoff team. The NL is just too stacked at this point. You've got the Brewers, you've got the D-backs, you've got the Rockies, and now Pittsburgh's all of a sudden in it. They got Philadelphia and Atlanta, so it's a very crowded race. I just don't know if the bats have enough in the gas tank to carry the team in the months of August and September. But certainly we're starting to find some good prospects. Steven Duggar. I really find Steven Duggar is a really great prospect. I'm glad they didn't trade him off. Ray Black, he's been a pleasant surprise in the bullpen. Ray Esmeralda, for the most part, has been good. But I realistically think the Giants need to sell at the deadline. Maybe not trade Bumgarner, so to say, but trade McCutchen. Trade Dyson, get yourself further below the CBT. And then what's going to happen the next 2 months is where the what direction the front office could be realistically going this off season. I mean, for the most part, this is a team. I just think unfortunately the front office has their heads in the cloud a bit. I mean, Longoria. I'm not convinced Longoria is ever going to be the same again. I just don't know. He's a declining. His power is starting to decline. So Longoria, and certainly that McCutchen trades come back to bite the Giants in the ass. Look at what Kyle Crick is doing over there in Pittsburgh. He's having a really stellar year with the Pirates. So that one was a trade that kind of backfired. Samardzija, I'm not convinced he can stay healthy. Johnny Cueto trying to avoid Tommy John. If say they do scuffle in August and September, they could be a bad 2 months away from actually needing to do what they should have done last year: commit to a rebuild. I think that this offseason, it might be time to start listening to offers for Madison Bumgarner. Maybe in another year or two, you start opening yourself up to business on saying, hey, Buster, let's see, where would you give me your trade list of teams where you want to be traded to? With Joey Bart coming up in the system, and Bart is just doing well in the single A right now. So Joey Bart is definitely going to be one to watch in the minors next year. And if Joey Bart continues to progress, maybe say, hey, let's see your no trade list. Where you'd be willing to be traded. Maybe it's time to move on from Buster Posey. Maybe you trade in the offseason. Maybe try to find a taker for Johnny Cueto. Maybe be open for business of trading Brandon Belt, or even, might I dare say, Brandon Crawford. I just don't think anybody is. I think I'd make everybody available this offseason if the Giants do scuffle here, or they just simply finish 500s, where I think they are going to finish. But I just think it's foolish for them to go after another magic bullet such as Bryce Harper. And I don't want Bryce Harper on the Giants. He's a hothead. He's an ego. I kind of hope the Giants get rid of Hunter Strickland this offseason. Unless the guy's learned his lesson, I don't want Hunter Strickland on the team. He's had too many chances, and he's blowing every opportunity to. He's just too immature to be on this team. But you certainly got some young pieces to build around now. You got Derek Rodriguez. You got Andy Suarez. Who knows what will come up in the minors next year? If Sean Anderson continues to shine in Sacramento, maybe you might see Sean Anderson up with the Giants at some time next year. But other than that, the farm is bare. There's not a lot of promising prospects. Maybe Chris Shaw might be ready to go in another year or two. Who knows how long it will take Joey Bart to progress. Helio Ramos, he's one that's not had a great year in single A. I think he's not made it up to San Jose yet. He's still in low A. But maybe Luigi Ramirez could be one that could be something to watch in Sacramento next year. He'll probably get that promotion at some point. But also, maybe in August, the Giants need to maybe be active in waiver trades. They need to maybe look at getting rid of Josh Osich through waivers. Maybe Tyler Beede. Beaty's not worked out in Sacramento this year. But a lot of pitchers have just hit a wall in Sacramento this year, and that's a concern. But I think the front office is delusional if they think another magic bullet's going to come in and solve the Giants' hitting woes. I think it was honestly a mistake to acquire McCutcheon and Longoria. They've not worked out. Austin Jackson, he's not worked out. I think we need to see a lot more of Austin Slater. The kid has proved he can play at the major league level. I just don't know why Bochy doesn't play him more. You got Alan Hansen, certainly a guy who's become expendable when he gets healthy. And I think this is one they really need to start listening to offers for this offseason is Joe Panic. Panic's a great player, but I just don't think Panic can't stay healthy. He's regressed a bit this year. And I think Alan Hansen's starting to have more of an upside than Joe Panic. So it might be time to move on from Joe Panic this offseason. But the front office, I think, is. But you know what? The best, and I think this is what's going to be great, is that attendance is already starting to suffer. And if the Giants, say, do finish 500 or so, where I think they are going to finish, and they do not commit to a rebuild, I actually think the attendance will suffer more than what it would happen if they decided to just re-up and try again with veterans. I think that route's the one where attendance will suffer more. And realistically, fans are a lot more open to a rebuild than what you think. Fans are a lot more open and understanding to rebuilds than what you think. And what could be worse is you've got the Warriors coming to San Francisco in another year, and they'll be right down the street from AT&T Park. So that definitely doesn't help your attendance there either. Look at the Niners. They've got Jimmy G coming in. The Niners are exciting again. People want to go to Levi's. So you got the Warriors and the Niners who are going to be fighting for Giants revenue right there. And you know, I remember I've seen this page with Jed York when Jed York was stubborn before they hired. But yeah, this could be where the ownership group could find themselves where Jed York was with the hire during the years of Jim Tomsula and Chip Kelly. Fans not showing up to the stadium. You keep it if they keep the route they're going with the fans. I think they're gonna reap what they sow. So I think they need to sell, but unfortunately, I think they're just gonna stand pat and fool themselves into thinking they can make a playoff. Where I think the playoffs, I just don't see the Giants making the postseason this year. Let's go to the MLB Roundup for tonight. We got some exciting baseball tonight. We're going to start off with the amazing Pittsburgh Pirates, who have won their 12th game in a row against the Cleveland Indians tonight, 9-4, taking the win. Is Joe Musgrove, or 11th in a row, my bad, by the Pirates, who are now 53-49 and third place in the Central. I think they're like 5 or 6 out of the wild card at this point. Joe Musgrove gets the win for the Pirates. Corey Dickerson goes 2 for 3. I kind of said they should sell. I now think the Pirates should buy at the deadline. I think Pittsburgh's definitely looking like something. They're making a special run. Taking the loss is Shane Bieber. And a lot of home runs tonight. Gregory Polanco, his 18th home run. Sterling Marte, his 16th. Josh Bell, his 6th home run. And all of a sudden, Pittsburgh's in the hunt. In Tampa Bay, the Yankees blanked the Rays 4-0, taking the win and pitching a complete game in 9 scoreless innings. Masahiro Tanaka, who only allows 3 hits tonight, strikes out 9. Taking the loss is Yanni Chirinos, gives up 3 earned and 6 2/3 innings for Tampa Bay. And in another crazy game in Arlington tonight, the Oakland A's come back from a 10-2 deficit to beat the Texas Rangers in 10 innings, 13-10. Nick Martini goes 2 for 2 for the A's. Jed Lowry 3 for 5 with his 17th home run. And the A's hit 4 home runs in 3 consecutive games. Mark Canha hits his 13th home run of the year. Steven Piscotty his 14th. And then Chris Davis with the dagger, his 25th home run for Oakland. Just when Oakland thought they were down and out at 10-2, come back. Frankie Montas allows 4 runs, 3 earned, and 5 innings pitched. Ryan Buchter, 5 runs, 2 earned, and 2/3 of an inning pitched. Blake Trainen comes in, gets his 25th save of the season. Brandon Mann, 3 earned and 1/3 of an inning pitched. Jake Diekman, 4 runs, 3 earned. And then Austin Beebens Dirk gives up the dagger. And the A's improved to 59-43 on the year. They are now just a game and a half back in the AL wildcard race going into the month of August. The D-backs beat the Cubs 5-1, taking the win. Clay Buchholz returning from injury. Taking the loss, Kyle Hendricks, who strikes out 8 in 5 innings pitched. Steven Souza Jr., 3 for 3 for the Snakes. In Milwaukee, the Brewers beat the Nationals in 10 innings tonight, 5-4. Taking the win, Dan Jennings taking the loss, Matt Grace. Ryan Zimmerman goes 3 for 5 for the Nats. Spencer Kieboom, 2 for 3 for the Nats. Christian Yelich, 3 for 4 for the Brew Crew. Lorenzo Cain, 4 for 5. And then Grace gives up an earned run in 2/3 of an inning pitched. In Kansas City, the Royals beat the Tigers 5-4, taking the win. Birch Smith taking the loss. Jordan Zimmerman. And Salvador Perez 3 for 4 for Kansas City tonight. In Houston, the Astros break out in the 10th inning to beat the Rockies 8-2, taking the win. Hector Rondon getting pounded for 5 earned runs in 1 1/3 innings pitched is Wade Davis. And And that was a costly one for Colorado. Luckily, they didn't lose any ground in the division tonight. In the OC tonight, the White Sox beat the Angels 4-2, taking the win. Carlos Rodon taking the loss. Felix Pena. Noe Ramirez comes in, gives up 2 earned and 1 2/3 innings pitched for the Halos. In Miami tonight, the Marlins beat the Braves 9-3, taking the win. Yin Shen taking the loss. Julio Teheran, who gets pounded for 7 earned and 4 1/3 innings pitched. Brian Anderson goes 3 for 3 for the Fish. And Teheran gives up 9 runs, 7 earned. In Cincinnati, the Cardinals beat the Reds 4-2 in 11 innings, taking the win. Sam Tuiavala taking the loss. Amir Garrett, 2 earned and 1 inning pitched. And Homer Bailey, back from injury, pitched excellent tonight. 6 2/3 innings pitched, strikes out 8. And in Philadelphia tonight, in 16 innings, the LA Dodgers lose to the Philadelphia Phillies 7-4. Taking the loss is Vince Velasquez. Taking the win is Vince Velasquez. Taking the loss, Kike Hernandez, who is forced to pitch in the 16th inning, with the Dodgers running out of men in the bullpen and not using a starter. Yasmani Grandal goes 3 for 7 for the Dodgers. Michael Franco goes 2 for 5 for the Phillies. And both bullpens were all used in tonight's game and are pretty tired. And in Baltimore tonight, the Orioles beat the Red Sox 7-6. Taking the win is Jeffrey Ramirez. Taking the loss in his return from injury, Drew Pomeranz, who gives up 4 earned and 4 2/3 innings pitched. Caleb Joseph goes 2 for 3 for the Orioles tonight. Joe Kelly 3 earned in 2/3 of an inning pitched for Boston. North of the border we go. The Twins blanked the Blue Jays 5-0, taking the win. Jose Barrios 7 scoreless innings. Taking the loss is Ryan Baruki, who gets a tough loss, who does not allow an earned run. 2 unearned runs in 6 innings pitched, just no run support. John Axford 3 earned and 1 1/3 innings pitched for Toronto. And in Queens tonight, the Mets beat the Padres 6-3, taking the win. Zach Wheeler taking the loss. Eric Lauer, who gets pounded for 6 earned runs and 4 innings pitched for San Diego. And let's go down on the farm tonight. The Grizzlies beat the Cubs 2-1 at Chancey Park tonight. Taking the win is Josh James, who allows only 1 unearned run, strikes out 11, surrenders 4 walks for the Grizzlies tonight. Taking the loss is Rob Zadrinsky, 1 earned and 1 inning pitched for the Iowa Cubs. Jack Mayfield goes 2 for 3. Nick Tanilou goes 2 for 4 for the Fresno Grizzlies. And now the Grizzlies improved to 59-43 on the season. The Rivercats lose to the Omaha Storm Chasers 6-2. Taking the win is Jake Kalish, who strikes out 10 in 6 innings pitched. Casey Kelly, not a bad line tonight. 3 runs, 1 earned, and 6 1/3 innings pitched. Just no run support. And Tyler Beatty, 2 more earned runs and 1 inning pitched. His ERA is not at a not so heavenly 7.09. The Rivercats fall to 43-59 on the season. I will be back Thursday night after the Giants play the Brewers. Hopefully, we will get that sweep in Seattle. Remember, tomorrow's game will only be seen on Facebook. Everybody have a great night. See you Thursday.